has won the toss. I don't think it's live yet. Australia has won the toss. Does that mean Australia has already won the match and taken the trophy home? Because TGC were going crazy yesterday. It's coming home. It's coming home, motherfucker. It's coming home. Everybody keeps saying coming
I
home,
don't.
coming home. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a place called like with
Who's
rhymes with
home?
Rome.
Whose home are they referring to?
I don't know, Melbourne. I mean, like, MCG is the greatest ground ever, and I can tell that because I've been there so many times, and I know it is. Except it's completely ruined by drop-in pitches, which destroys everything. But New Zealand started Martin Guptill, who was somebody was telling me that Martin Guptill is like a third generation Gupta from India, who eventually became Guptill. I mean, all the Ram Naresh, Saravan, Narayan, all these names get mutated anyway over the long run. So I can see you reading Kiwi tonight. That means you're backing Kiwis. My original prediction was Australia versus New Zealand final, and somehow I didn't bet on it in the year 2021 when finally the betting is legal in India. It's not a problem. Like you can just literally when you're watching the match, everything, all the thing they want to do is like bet, 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 bet. Okay, and I didn't bet. I'm pretty sure I don't know how much the odds must have been, but it must be close to 100, right? Even if it's not close to 150 or something like that. If I put, let's say, 1 lakh, I could have made 50 lakhs or something.
I read a quote somewhere. I don't know who was saying it. That the odds were so low that imagine Australia, it's 1 a.m. Sydney time, Auckland is 3 a.m., and those two guys are the finalists. So, like the ICC or the organizers would have already calculated the odds, what the odds would have been for those guys to be in the final. It's been broadcast at 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. respectively in those countries. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there'll be more viewers from Mumbai than those two countries combined.
Well, that's definitely true, and obviously the numbers. But I think New Zealanders are getting all their sheep, which are apparently 47 million, with for 4.7
Yes.
million people. They're getting all the sheeps to subscribe to Hotstar, so they can get a bit of higher viewership. I think Lal, what I was thinking of, because the semi-final, because this whole tournament has been a pretty boring, one-sided, toss-driven
Yeah.
shit, and India getting kicked out. But the semi-finals and the way they were very identical, like they were all tear-jerkers and it's like edge of the seat thrillers, and the way they happened, almost identical twins. And then Australia versus New Zealand. I think this has made the people, the real people who watch, like Indians, they will be watching, like we'll be watching, and we'll be seeing what the fuck is going on. So we'll be part of it.
Yeah,
So
I think the overall tournament, I mean, it reminds me of the 2007 World Cup, which India exited miserably. But this is not so much about India. Like, while I'm sad that India exited and blah, 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 but overall, the quality of the tournament, I mean, they have to change the format or something. I mean, they were like completely one-sided matches which you wouldn't even want to watch, like matches which lasted only 1 hour because the teams chased down the targets in six overs, and like it's just crazy. They will have to figure out a way how to make the tournament throughout the group stages to the final like more interesting. And I'm glad that the semifinals were exciting, interesting, cricket at its best, to redeem some of the things that have been going on in the tournament. Both semifinals were like fantastic, but again, like I don't know. I'll have to do some digging around the toss, but I mean, technically, it's like you win the toss, 80% you win the match. So I don't know why the toss is becoming so decisive in all these games.
yeah, let's be honest. What has happened in the last couple of matches? If you really realize that it was actually the team which batted first, which pretty much was going to win until the one explosive over, which just their whole hopes exploded. And also, if I've been hearing right, that people are saying they haven't had a due problem in the semifinals. I don't know what has happened, but they haven't had a due problem in the semifinals at all.
Yeah, somehow I have this sense like, how did the pitches get better, or what kind of pitches were they preserving for the semi-final and final? Because like last 2 3 matches, the scores have been higher, the par scores have been higher. The first two-thirds of the tournament, the pitches were sluggish. 150 turned out to be winning scores. Like, I mean, people, found it hard to score more than 160. So it's been strange all around.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree completely, because I was thinking on those lines, like, did they magically just make these pitches?
Yeah,
And where were these pitches for the entire tournament? And because
correct.
if that was the case, I think the toss wouldn't have been such a major factor. And we can't deny it. Like, no matter what we say, although the Indian coach, I think S. Bharat or one of them came out and talked about it. I think there's no point talking about it now. But at the same time, was he lying that the tosses mattered? He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. But I think we just underperformed anyway. That's why I'm like, let's not blame the toss for India because we
Yeah, I
just
don't think
performed
India.
badly.
Yeah, we
We didn't give any targets.
the coaches were blaming the tosses, and like people were like fatigued in bio bubble. Like screw that, those are all excuses. We didn't play enough, like well enough. That's it. Like end of story. Like I don't know why they have to like weave or create these reasons out of like thin air. We didn't play good enough against Pakistan and New Zealand, and that's it. Like, I mean, there's no bio bubble. Like suddenly bio bubble fatigue went away against Afghanistan and the rest of the teams. I mean, I don't get it.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit on football. If you have something to say, we can say, and we can just be juggling between it. Two major topics. One obviously is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the other is 25% of EPL managers have already been sacked within 25% of the matches. I mean, what the by the end of it, all 20
Just
will be
crazy.
sacked. It's been ruthless. Now, some people have been saying, okay, by the way, if something happens, Lal, last time I didn't do it, but this time
Mhm.
I will be rude because we have to be
Mhm.
rude. Are you watching the match? I want to make sure that you're also watching the match live.
I'm following the commentary on Cricinfo.
Okay, you have it right. So
Yep.
I have a screen behind me. I'm watching it live. So in case
Mhm.
I ask you a question and you're like in the middle of it, but something happens, we're just gonna like I'm just gonna completely interrupt you in that moment, and then we'll have to remember where the fuck were you. Okay, all right, let's do
Go
this.
for it.
Last time because
Yeah.
I didn't put a caveat, so I didn't want to do it. So my question here is, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's not even compare the other five. What happened recently? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United. They bought so many players, including your favorite son, Jadon Sancho, and everybody's favorite son, Cristiano Ronaldo, Varane, everybody. Okay, now we get thrashed 5-0 when people said even it could have been 8-0 as well. Fair enough. And then his ass is on the line. Everybody's talking about him. Next game he goes out. The Conte is in Conte. So next game he goes out, beats Tottenham, sorry as 3-0 because they were going to lose anyway. Their coach gets fired after he's the one who beat Manchester City to start with and won 3 games. I'm not even sure what exactly is he doing wrong, except that he was always going to be that defensive coach. Kane is not scoring anything. Dele Alli cannot perform. Nobody's performing. People want to leave left, right, and center. He gets kicked out, and then Conte becomes their coach. So no, it's like the Indian saying, right? Ek tir se do nishane. Now that was the biggest hustler on earth for me. I mean, I can't think of anybody bigger hustler than that, who not only kills the enemy, he kills the entire enemy's family and makes sure that nobody can come after him. Because now
It's
who do we
just
hire?
crazy. I mean, newfound respect. Maybe he's like the godfather in the background. He knows what's going on. I mean, it's just crazy. It's unfair to other managers. Like looking at Solskjaer, I mean, actually, managers should be queuing up for the job of United, because, like, once you get the job, it's very hard to get fired. You have to fall so low to get fired that it's crazy. Like, I mean, Tottenham fired Mourinho in 8 months or whatever, some months. We took 2.5 years. Uh, Van Gaal, again, we gave 2.5 years. Moyes was the exception where he was fired in a few months. But I mean, how much worse do you want to get it? I think the United board is testing, like, how much, how far, how far, we can fall before we have to, like, pull the trigger. It's just, I mean, United is playing. I mean, it feels like United is a club in the 90s, and the rest of the clubs are current, like where they fire managers, like, 5 matches, they've seen enough, screw it. And I mean, I am not commenting whether it's fair or unfair, but there are two different policies. Like, rest 19 clubs are like, oh, out, someone is out, right?
We have a wicket. Hazelwood has gotten the hero, the Mitchell, Darren Mitchell out, who's also
Hey,
now included in the test team against
ha-
India.
yeah, have you thought about this? This is pretty much the same test match bowling lineup which Australia has, except for this guy,
Why
the
not?
spinner, Lyon. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. They could have included Lyon also in this, and that's it. Like, the same 11 players playing all
Zampa
formats.
has been bowling very well. And technically, Zampa is also in the test setup. It's not Zampa is out. He's going to be playing in Sydney, where it spins.
Yeah, yeah. I think if Lion's form drops, like it'll take some more time for Lion to be get. I mean, to get dropped. But I think Lion is. I mean, Zampa is a good contender. I mean, I don't know how much at the test level he's played, or of what is his first class record, but he's a good bowler. He's an intelligent bowler.
He's also a leg spinner, so it's like obviously a different ball
Yeah,
game, different
he
category
reminds me
altogether. So
of,
you can,
Chehel, when Chehel burst onto the scene, and that first year was phenomenal with the Kulcha combination. Zampa somehow reminds me that he's intelligent. He sees whether the batsman is on the front foot. He varies his length. And where is his pace more importantly in 2020? I think that's very important.
All right. Before I forget, I'll ask you to just finish that chain of
Yeah.
thought that we had
Yeah, I mean,
on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I don't know what the board is waiting for. Like that's it. I think United fans are just giving up now. That screw it. Like I don't care. Like I mean, people are moving away. My worry is this generation who were born like let's say like 10, 15 years ago. They don't care about the history of United. They will be diehard fans 10 years down the line of Chelsea, City, Liverpool. They don't care about United. Like we follow because we saw United, in their pomp, and we care about the history and all that. But I mean, today, whatever you see, like it's the biggest club because you have more number of followers on social media. That will go away. I mean, the board is not realizing that you can't bank. You can bank on history only so much. And it might be another Liverpool that it'll be 30 years before we win something. And I sincerely hope it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, you're scaring the fuck out of me because after saying 30, I think also the Manchester United, as you said earlier, to the point that Manchester United become a bit of a career, like it's become a career job. Like when
Yeah,
Sir Alex retired, he's done. Louis Van Gaal hasn't taken. I mean, now he has, but there was a long gap. Even with Mourinho, there was the longest gap after he got kicked out from here.
yeah.
With Solskjaer, I think there's not going to be a long gap. It's just going to be this is it. Like this is it. Unless he wants to go to
He'll go
Scotland or
back to
something, or
he will
Norway
go back to Norway.
and Molda, unless he
Mold.
gets like some people else sacked. So, but are you like now that they've won the toss and they've just lost a wicket? That doesn't really mean so much because anybody can come in and actually get fit in. Kane is still there. Guptill is there. Williamson has come in anyway. I mean, right now, if you have to pick, what percentage chance are you going to give to Australia and New Zealand?
Even before the final, like once Australia won their semi-final, for me it was always 65 Australia, 65-35 Australia,
Yeah, I
and
think that's why
hence
even the betting odds are fairly in Australia's favor even
the
before the
one
toss. I
reason
think that's because of
one
pedigree.
reason yeah, A, pedigree, B, you, no matter what you say, you have to look at records, right? In like Australia versus New Zealand in knockouts, Australia have always had the edge. I know last 3 years have been phenomenal. Like for New Zealand, they've made finals of virtually everything that they've played for. But in big knockout tournaments, like how India versus Pakistan in the knockouts, like or in ICC tournaments, India always had an edge, no matter what other records they were there. But same is the case here in this rivalry. I think Australia always had the edge versus New Zealand in knockout matches. So that is one. Second is I think Australia's balance for chasing is perfect. They have like they bat deep, so no matter what target, I mean, even though I know it's in favor now, the odds have become 75-25 for me because they won the toss. But even before that, I just think the balance of the team somehow felt better for Australia versus New Zealand for me.
Yeah, I think if I were betting man, apart from the fact that I have major affinity for Aussies than the Kiwis, um, he just but at the end of the day, it's T20, right? Like fucking nothing matters.
Yeah,
Like if
that's
you really
true.
want to like make some, I mean, at the end of the day, if you end up putting money on the people who are like minnows, eventually you'll end up making a lot more money than actually putting it on the people who's gonna always gonna win because there's always gonna be upset. Who would
Yeah,
have thought Pakistan would have won five on the trot, and then I mean, you kind of felt for Pakistan when they lost to Australia. Australia deserved to win, fair enough, but you kind of felt for it because Pakistan there was no fluke. They have been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You felt for England also. It's almost similar to the main World Cup, 50-over World Cup, when India and Australia were
yeah,
going into semi-final as the best teams. Both got knocked out big time, at least. But those matches were shit. The best part is that these semi-finals were amazing, and the saving grace was the World Cup final, and it was just, I mean, apart from heartbreaking for New Zealand and terrible, but it was one of the best final that you can ever hope for, and even World Chess Championship final was no good. So till nothing is happening, and anyway, you're for shorter period of time. Let's talk about the five managers who got sacked already. Already. So it was Cisco Muniz from Watford. He got sacked on October 3rd. Let's be very particular. Steve Bruce got sacked on October 20th. Nuno Espirito Santo got sacked on November 1st. November 6th was Daniel Farka, Norwich City. And finally, Dean Smith was let go on November 7th. Now, most of these places have already been filled. Just tell me, and one place which is still to be filled, I believe, but everybody knows, I think is Dean Smith is I think the only target or
Steven
something.
Gerrard. Gerard
Steven
has
Gerrard has already
replaced.
Gerrard has already taken over Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So I'm saying no. Dean Smith is now going to take over Norwich
Okay.
City, which is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
battle
Correct.
between Frank Lampard and him. But I think Frank Lampard has dropped off. He's
That I
just thought
think
about it like
he wants to go to Rangers because that job is vacant. Gerard coming here. I think some it's musical chairs, right, with
it
managers.
definitely is musical chair. So like, do you think it was fair to whatever your point is like Cisco Muniz and then you getting rid of him? I think they've got Ranieri right now, so that got replaced by Ranieri. And do you think because he wasn't doing badly or anything, it's a Watford game, right? Watford just sacks three managers in a year. That's how they work on it.
Yeah,
So it just
Watford's model is somehow. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know how they work, but it's just that I mean, for for each team its own, right? I mean, for Watford it works somehow. I don't know how, but it's just a crazy model, right? I mean, changing managers, virtually two managers every season. To me, the harshest of the sacking was probably Dean Smith. I really genuinely thought, I mean, Aston Villa is not a club that you, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking or what their expectation was that they would be fighting for top four. If that was the case, yes, he would have been sacked. But given that how far he himself has brought Aston Villa, I think he should have been given a chance till at least Christmas, right? And then if they're still, relegation battle, if they're into that, then you could have pulled the trigger. Others, I think, I mean, I'm fine either ways. Unfortunately, Nuno Espirito Santo was a wrong appointment more than wrong sacking. He
correct.
was their, I don't know, eighth choice manager or something. So yeah, I think I don't really feel too bad for him. I think it's unfair to fire someone after 10 Premier League games in any case. And it's not that Tottenham were like, I mean, look at Arsenal, right? How they started. So Tottenham could have turned around. I don't know, but I mean they have had the coup, right? I mean, getting Antonio Conte. Uh, Now it's. I think United are not going to like if Solskjaer stays till Christmas, then United will probably finish sixth or something and go into Europa League. And if that's the case, I don't know if Ronaldo will stay again next year because he has a 2-year contract. Half the team should leave then, for me.
Yeah, so fair enough. So, I mean, we're not going to be doing some Conte bashing, but apparently, I thought I was the ninth choice. If Nuno wasn't appointed, I could have been Tottenham coach as well and gotten a massive compensation and just, bought a couple of islands in Maldives and lived there happily ever after with some supermodel wife, trophy wife with three babies who are like prettier than Ronaldo and hang out with all these people. But that's, you miss out a little bit, but I'm still waiting. The way United model is, I might get appointed as well. And you should not rule yourself out completely.
For that to
You'll be the
happen,
greatest.
first you need to fire. No. For that to happen, all he needs to be fired. So that's the big task.
That's
Someone
the
will
big
be
part. I think we need
appointed
to
only if
kidnap
he
this guy.
gets fired. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he needs to be kidnapped. That's one way we can get rid of this motherfucker. So okay, only thing I wanted to say was with Dean Smith, fair enough. Daniel Farka, I mean, I just don't. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's the model they're following. It's not even his fault. Nuno was just the wrong appointment. Why do you appoint somebody just to embarrass and put the blame on him? To be very frank, only last thing I'll say is that it wasn't Mourinho's fault. It wasn't Nuno's fault. And Conte, for as much as I love him, I don't think Tottenham has any hope. Tottenham are completely fucking hopeless. They're shit. And if Conte turns them around, I think he'll be God because he's a genius already. Because he gets them because these bunch of fucking pussies, they don't want to do anything. They always want to blame on everybody else. They don't have any balls. They don't want to grow balls. They don't want to buy balls. The fact is, when Mourinho challenged them for balls, and I think Nuno Santos from the very beginning, they made him feel like you are some low level manager. That's how he was made to
Correct.
feel, not only by them, but also by the fans. So, a lot of
Correct.
respect for Nuno to stand there and everybody just shitting all over him. Show some fucking
He
respect.
handled. Yeah,
Okay.
he handled great. He handled it
He had
gracefully.
dignity.
If it,
The
yeah,
person had
he
dignity. So when people come out and say that you don't know what you're doing, I mean, if you had grace, then you would not be saying that because your main
correct.
player does not know what he's doing. Your fucking biggest people, they don't know what they're doing, and then you hire this guy to just put all the blame on him and just be completely disgraceful. So I want to say in the podcast that I'm totally with Nuno. He was the wrong appointment, and sacking was just going to happen. But then you just like It's like you marry somebody that you should never marry in the first place, then you blame on him, blame on them. But you
Correct.
already knew
Yeah.
before you married this person, who were you marrying, then you're like, oh, I hate that bitch. You were the one who married her.
Correct. I agree.
So show some
I think
respect.
that was unfair. Okay, I
That was
think the
completely
power
unfair.
play is over. Power play is
Power
over. Looks
play.
like it's completely Australia's power play. 6 overs for 30. Wow, that's insane. I
Yeah,
think
and I think
batting
Maxwell is
first.
constantly bowling. It's just too
Yeah,
much, man.
yeah. I mean, batting first. This was New Zealand had to make use of the first 6 overs. It's going to get difficult now. If in 10 overs they are 60 or 70, then in the last 10 they will score, let's say 100. I think 160,
Mhm.
170 again will be a par score. I mean, little
See,
under par
Guptill
if
is
you
there.
ask me.
So
Yeah.
Lal Guptill is there. So there must be
Mhm.
some strategy that he's going to go after it. So the deal has to notice is that once you go after, these are not the pitches which are like
It looks
before.
like
So it's not going to be
it
completely
looks
difficult
like
to score.
yeah, Hazelwood has bowled like crazy, like he's like 3 overs for 11. But looks like both Guptill and Kane are playing the anchor roles. Guptill is completely playing, his opposite of his natural game. He's like 18 of 21 or something. I understand Williamson might start slow and then build up from there. I'm confused. Why is Guptill playing like that? I know the bowling has been tight and good, but yeah, I think Guptill has to change gears. I
So
think
he will
New
explode.
Zealand, yeah, he has to,
He
and I
will
think now,
explode.
so New Zealand has to take a gamble. For me, if I was the coach, I would
That's the whole point.
send
In fact, they should
Nisham.
go after these three deliveries. At least one of these
Yeah,
three deliveries.
I
But
would
even with
send
the
like
stance,
Nisham
yeah.
at the next wicket, just to change it up and get some
Yeah, it
momentum
depends on
back.
what the situation is right now. If somebody gets out right away, I don't know what's going to happen. But if they're overthinking, that's not going to be very good. I mean, just as proper Kiwis, they're chewing gums. Apart from Kane Williamson, I believe he's just chewing his beard. No, something sort of give. I completely agree. They have to take a chance. It's not even really a chance because what's the point of
Yeah,
you being there anyway? And by the way,
correct.
as
And
Australia,
Zampa, yeah,
go on.
Zampa's 4 over. I mean, are in the bag for the Aussies. So he'll definitely take wickets. He might have an odd day, but I think
Hmm.
he'll always be a wicket taker. I see him like taking a wicket or two. And yeah, I mean, this innings so far is going nowhere.
See, they have to go after Zampa now. They don't have a choice. So
Yeah,
either
they don't have a choice.
Zampa,
Correct.
if Zampa gets one wicket, it's fine and goes for like 36, they'll take it. But what they want is Zampa to go for 45 and take just one wicket or zero wickets because Zampa takes two wickets and goes for 27. They're screwed. Okay. And nobody, see, you have to go after people. Sometimes when you go after people, you don't know. Like once somebody hits you for a six, you kind of
The
like
only
start
flaw,
thinking,
yeah, the only flaw.
can't you see? Nikesh, we can see. He's the Kiwi. I'm the Aussie. Who are
No,
you
no, I'm
supporting?
also.
I think he's supporting.
I'm all. I'm also. I mean, I think there is. I mean, I'm going to support New Zealand just for that, but I don't believe that they're going to win. My this thing is kangaroos will eat kiwis tonight. So
But I got to give it to Nikesh. I used to teach him GRE, and he's written, "Whom are you supporting?" I don't know if he consciously done that, but that's the correct way of writing it. Because there's a subject and the other one, which is,
good.
I don't know if you'll remember it. So, because you is the subject, so that will be in the first form, then the whom, because the second form, it will be always the object, which will become whom. But most people say, who are you supporting? Is actually you are the subject
So
and whom is the object. So it will be whom. So I'm really
yeah.
impressed by
So
this guy.
viewers now, like apart from our Gyan from Blunt Bastards, you will also get grammar and English coaching
GRE training.
from our
Yeah, if
from
you're
our
trying to go
in-house
to migrate
in-house
to
expert.
Toronto, head down expert, including ex-student who puts in like, whom are you supporting? I'm pretty sure this guy is still supporting Sri Lanka because yeah, from he's from
But it's
Bhubaneswar, which
it's so strange that both these teams who are playing in the final got thrashed by Bangladesh 3-1 and or 4-1 or something before the tournament, right before
and
the
then
tournament.
Bangladesh got thrashed 5-0 in the tournament. I mean,
Yeah, it's just
it's a parallel universes are running because see, a lot of people don't take care of like see all the matches they were playing because they were hardly playing any matches. They wanted to make sure that it's not about winning anything; it's about just making sure the main players don't get injured and some people get play. So if you notice, Mitchell Stark, who bowled really well in the first 2 or 3 matches, he was rested for the last 2 or 3 matches. They didn't even want to put him out because they're like, God forbid he just like twists an ankle or something. There's no point on that. So they just let him be, and then played all the players who have never played at all, or who had to play, or who can get into the team just to test somebody out. Because Mitchell Stark, I remember, he was sitting on a chair. after getting a lot of wickets, they were like, and they were playing people which we were confusing for a female cricketer at the same time. So I hope, but at the end, Bikram, I just want this match to be exciting. Right now, it's like we're doing this part, but it looks like we're just talking about football, and because there's nothing really to
Yeah.
talk about
And
except, I
Zampa
mean,
has
we can talk about.
come on. Yeah.
So let's talk about something which has already happened, which is what happened to David Warner. He just walked off without nicking the ball. There was just this much difference.
Oh yeah, that was bizarre. That was really bizarre. I don't know. Sometimes you might have felt something and you thought it's an edge. Not sure why he walked off. I couldn't see any other reason apart from that. If he had some doubt, he would have stayed and reviewed it or whatever. Like if umpire had given him out. But I think in his head, he thought sometimes as a batsman, even though you may not have nicked the ball, but if it touches your, let's say, your pants or something, in your head you think, oh, maybe I've nicked it. And in this age of DRS, you know that you can't take a chance, and umpire, if he gives
Looks
I
looks
mean,
stupid.
people will take
Yeah, he
review.
looks stupid.
Yeah, you look stupid. Correct. So
So I think what
not sure.
happened was, if you notice, everybody thought it was out,
Hmm.
and he was like, "Is it out?" And I was like, "It's like it was given. Like it was like not even waiting for the umpire. It was like given. So it was like, it must be out. Like those kind of things. Like people keep telling you you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. Start believing you're
Hmm.
stupid. Right? That kind
Yeah.
of stuff happens. People keep telling people you're smart, you're smart, you're smart, and then you fail, and they're like, oh, that did not happen. I still remember this. Like this thing came out to me. I think in the 10th grade there was this guy. I'm forgetting his name, but he was bad at Hindi, and our floor. I was in boarding school, so our floor was White House. It was the top floor in the residential building. So he came out and he was like, he used to say like Par diya. He's like Par diya exam Par diya. So after that, he said like, oh, finally I'm done with Hindi. This is 10th grade. So after that, he doesn't have to do Hindi anymore. So he tears off his book and chucks it out from the balcony, in the back balcony and outside, and then he comes back. Only a month later, just to get to know that he failed, because he failed Hindi. He had to repeat the goddamn grade, and he had to buy the book again, which his father he was from Punjab. His father beat the fuck out of him. He said, you little piece of shit. Not only you failed, you tore off the book. So he tore off all his files and everything which he had. I was like, oh my god, that was I never forget that, because he came up, he was like, yeah, he was like, Fardia, exam Fardia, and he's like, and then he failed. So like 27, he's like, oh fucking shit, man, I have to repeat. So he had to do it all over again. So sometimes people get excited. Mitchell Marsh, his stock has risen very quickly. And
Yeah,
Conway,
his
let's
stock
talk about
is
Conway a little bit briefly. You punch the bag, then you're out of the series, you're out of Test series. Suddenly, you're the greatest player, and now you're gone. I mean, that kind of stuff happens.
just freak of nature. I mean, it's just crazy, right? It's things that happen that you can't even imagine.
So only thing I was missing was like there is no video of it. It would have been a massive viral video.
Yeah, it would have been correct. Most Googled video ever. I'm sure if there was a video for it.
Oh, there it is. It. I mean, they just showed it, so there's not much
Oh,
in it. Actually, he just punches with his glove, and normally like it's just normal glove thing, but I think he just ended up hitting
I
him the
think
wrong way.
the New Zealand coach or someone was saying that he just hit it. He didn't feel anything immediately, but like after later, like he it was some mild pain, and then they did some scans, and that's when they found out. But when he
Yeah, they
hit
just
it,
showed it.
he did. Yeah, he didn't realize that. Oh my god! Oh fuck! I have a fracture or something is broken. So yeah, it's just bizarre.
It's like those one of the internal injuries. It's like when I had an accident, car accident. I don't know if you know about it. I must have mentioned it. I had a big car accident. I was 19. I was in Melbourne. So our car overturned because our driver was Naveen. Bhaiya. He was very drunk, and then when he was taking a turn, he lost control. The car dragged on the ground on the road, hit a parking post, came stationary. It was 2:45 in the morning. Paramedics came in. Uh, Luckily, because we were wearing seat belts, and that was one of the very first time I was wearing seat belts, we were fine. Naveen had cut on his ear. Then Abhishek Madhu was at the back. So when the people came out, paramedics, they pulled us out. And literally, honestly speaking, it was just simple injury. It could be a sporting injury. I like my t-shirt, one of my favorite t-shirt, like it was full sleeve t-shirt slash sweater. It was like torn. I was like standing there, I was bruises, and I was like, all I was worried about, fuck man, this fucking jumper is gone now. So because Australia, everybody calls everything jumper. So he's like, this fucking jumper is gone. And just standing outside, and then I remember this paramedic, this lady was there, and she was like, we're going to take you to the hospital. I was like, okay. I was just, we're 19. They just listen to whatever the fuck somebody's saying, right? So she's like, what are you taking? And she was explaining, like, the reason we're taking you. I know you might feel okay. Are you feeling, first year, are you feeling okay? Can you, like, she was like, can you see this? Can you see this? I was like, she was talking. I was like, okay. She said, but you might feel okay. But sometimes it's like, concussion is happening, it just kicks in a bit later. So we're just going to take you to the
Okay.
hospital. You stay
It
there.
does.
And if you're okay in a few hours, then you go home, whatever, sign a
Yeah.
couple of papers. So that kind of stuff happens. So just the way he hit it, it can happen. Like concussion, it happens, just kicks in a bit later. Normally, when you punch something, it you feel it right away. But I think because all the padding was there, something got through, which we don't
Yeah.
know anything about. And I just saw the replay.
Correct.
He punches it, then he's like moving around. He's like, he doesn't feel anything. He's
Yeah.
like, fuck. He's
Correct.
like unhappy. Then later on, he just, I mean, that's freak, man. I mean, a lot of freak accidents happen even in last tour in England. This guy, the opener, forgetting him, Zach Crawley, right? He slipped on talcum powder or something. I don't know what the fuck it was. Like he was walking in, he fell and he just broke his like arm, and somebody else got a chance because of that. I'm pretty sure it's that other guy
I
who put all
think
the talcum powder in.
Yeah, I think Jofra Archer's injury was also funny, like his finger injury or something. He either like did like he was gardening, I don't know what, like it was something he was doing in the house, and that's how he got injured. So weird ways to get injured nowadays. But yeah, it's just okay. A couple of boundaries by Williamson in the last over. That's good, but they need much more. This is like the third over from the fifth bowler. Now there is only one over from the fifth bowler left. One chink in the armor for Australia, though, I feel, is the death bowling. I don't think Pat Cummins is a death bowler. At least, like
Starkey
off late,
is.
he's improved. With Stark, it can go. He's like the two face, right? He's like you don't know what Stark you're gonna get on the day. Either he'll nail like crazy Yorkers, or he'll be half volleys going for sixes. So with Stark,
It's
it's
always there. That will
yeah.
always there. He's a death bowler. Like I would definitely use him for a death because he can get people out. Sometimes, see, when you're bowling Yorkers, if the other player is really really good, they can just away wait, scoop that guy. And right now, everybody knows that Shaheen Shah Afridi seems like a
But
higher version of Mitchell Stark.
even against Pakistan, if you notice, last 4 overs went for some 60 or something, and it was Stark and Cummins who were bowling the last four.
Cummins
So
had a good
I
over.
somehow, yeah, Cummins
Hazelwood
had a good
got
over, but Stark.
spanked. Hmm.
Correct. Hazel. So all these three bowlers, with Stark is the only one who has the skill set to bowl at the death. But unfortunately, for me, he's far too inconsistent. He's not developed. I mean, he's not. He does not have that reputation of, let's say, a Bumrah or a Malinga at one point. That he's a great Yorker, but somehow he's not created the reputation of a death bowler. He's great at the start. I would rather bowl him like before, but then the problem is, who do you have at the death? Hazelwood is definitely not a death bowler, so Cummins has to like develop new tricks and bowl. But yeah, I feel that's the only chink in the armor that I see currently that Australia has, is their death bowling. The fifth bowler, somehow they're getting away with it because a couple of overs from Maxwell in the power play, and then 1 or 2 overs you slip in over the next 10 overs. So they're getting away with it pretty well. So while I don't know how they might get found out somewhere else, but for now they are getting away with it. Do you think the
I
next
think
year's World
yeah,
Cup
go on.
will in next year's World Cup, like, do you see anyone else breaking in, like, irrespective whether Australia win or lose tonight? Do you think any major, like, someone coming in the team? Because the
You're
next
talking
World
about
Cup is in
Australian
Australia.
team.
Yeah,
You're talking
yeah,
Australian team.
yeah.
I've not really sat down and thought about it that much. So I'm just thinking, like, right off my head, who is really missing? So let's talk about the bowling. I really don't see Nathan Lyon coming in now with Zampa being so
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
not going to be like spin friendly or anything. So it's not going to be like multiple spinners. Pace is going to be the deal. So they had the three bowlers. Then obviously, as the TGC call him, the chop out bowler, Maxwell. So he will do chop out. Mitchell Marsh's stock has gone up. So he's going to stay. Um,
Hmm.
I think in the number three was a concern. Then they put Mitch Marsh there. Steven Smith is not going to be out. So if that is one position, that because you have to understand that yes, he hasn't performed, and as much as I love him, I have to be very fair that he hasn't been able to perform that way. But you need
Correct.
Steven Smith for his fielding, and it's like he is going to come good, particularly at home. So I can't really see Steven Smith going out per se. Maxwell is there. Looks, I mean, I think Australia doesn't perform, but the team is like as solid as it gets. Like who are you going to kick out? Warner's going to like after we both agreed that even if he was playing well in the earlier part of the tournament, he was not looking good because he was looking very choppy, like missing a lot of balls. But last two innings, man, he's just looked completely
Yeah,
immense.
he is warder of his old. To me, you're right. I think for me, the only the guy who's on the weakest foundation to me is Smith. But again, I think because Smith and his reputation and his talent, I think they will give him a chance. But I think for me, probably he would be the first one if I have to make any changes in this lineup.
Yeah, and I thought another reason why he'll not be kicked out because Ashes is about to come, and I can guarantee he's going to make 5 fucking centuries, destroy everybody. After that, people like, oh well, oh well. If Australia wins this today and they're already as defending champions, that is something. And then Australia can end up doing what they had done to ODI World Cups, like winning back to back. They won 3 times, right, back to back. Overall, they have
Yeah,
won 5. I
yeah,
think. So they want to
yeah.
join India's squad for test against David Warner to join India's squad. So Warner is coming to India. What does it even mean?
What does that mean? Oh,
That's my friend from work. His name is Dave. Sometimes people call him Justin.
oh,
Sometimes
so
he's just like a.
he's changing allegiances. He's moving to New Zealand now, Warner, or he's joining New Zealand as like some special coach or
No, he said
mentor.
he's joining India's team. That's what he said, right? Joining India.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I
So,
thought he's
but I know
joining New Zealand.
Conway is out. Daryl Mitchell is in. So this is a bit complicated. This is not call pack, Mike. You can't just walk in. You have to like spend time. Just can't be like just
What
walk
do you
in
think?
straight away.
What do you think of our test team against New Zealand? I just saw it and they're resting everyone like Bumrah, Shami, Jadeja, Kohli is not there for the first test. Sharma is rested for the whole series. So it's completely going to be like a B team. I mean, at least first like 6 or 7 of the first team like players are not in the squad itself.
So let's talk
Against
about
New
bowling.
Zealand.
Who is rested from the bowling? Jadeja is rested,
Shami,
right? Aksar comes in.
Shami, Bumrah, and Shami.
No, talk about
Shami,
spinners
Bumrah, and
first. So
Jadeja.
spinners, Jadeja is out, right? But Aksar
Yeah.
comes in, so it's not a B team.
Doesn't matter.
Shami's rested.
Yeah.
Shami rested. We have enough bowlers, right? Somebody else comes in. Shouldn't be a problem. Any other bowler rested?
Bumrah.
Batsman is not a concern, huh?
Bumrah.
Bumrah.
Bumrah is rested.
Bumrah is one big one, but again, Bumrah hasn't really done anything in India anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not sure how much is the big deal that will be because mostly it'll be spin friendly. They're gonna
somehow
make
I
spin
don't think.
pitches, you know it.
Yeah, that's true. I think it'll be Akshar,
Bumrah is
Ashwin,
he's gonna
and
break his back. He's gonna break his back. He probably is gonna get to his wife, probably end up making a baby or two. That's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you before you this very soon you will hear Bumrah is becoming a father. Who's his Hardik? Okay, what about Hardik? Like this is the bad word, like okay, Hardik. What about Hardik? No, he needs to bowl, buddy. He must be in the team, I believe. Is he in the team?
he's in the
Hardik doesn't want to play
T20
test matches.
squad, I think. Is he?
I don't think he wants to play
match,
test
I don't
match.
think. Yeah, Hardik doesn't want to. Yeah, he can't walk in the test team as a batsman, and he doesn't want to bowl. So I think. So in India, you need the all-rounder spot will always go to a spinner, because we don't have a quality pace bowler who can bat. Overseas, it's taken up by Shardul Thakur, right? Uh, if you want a pace bowling all rounder, then that Shardul has done enough to make his place in overseas test matches. In India, it will be Akshar or Jadeja or some spinner who can bat.
Okay, so hopefully soon we can start super chats because this free chatting, free answering people's questions, I've just had it. Even the Kiwi is not even free. So see, I think at the end, I think you said B team, but it's not really a B team. I mean, Rohit has not even been a part of it. Anybody can come in. We have a lot of players. We have Mayank to open. We have this other guy. Who was to open before he got injured? Who's this guy? Punjabi guy.
Gill,
who plays for
Shubman
KKR?
Gill.
Shuman Gill, right? So Shuman Gill's there. There's a bunch of people. So I, think that's really good.
I would
KL will do very well in
Mayank,
India.
Yeah, I think Mayank. Sorry, I don't know if he's in the squad also, but if he is, then I think him and KL Rahul should open.
Yeah, Mayank. It's like he deserves it also because he was the person who was supposed to play, but then he got injured and all that stuff happened. I mean, I'm just opening the squads. We can quickly do this before. I believe you also have to get going. I think something. Well, although they're using Mitchell Stark, their squads are different for first and second test. Okay, because Virat Kohli comes in. So I'm just checking the first test squads. So Ajinkya Rana is the captain, of course. Mayank is there, by the way. So Shrikar Bharat is there as a wicket keeper. Is the Fatty also resting? I think Fatty must be resting.
Pant, they've rested, I think.
So Bharat is a good, like he's a genuine wicket keeper, right? So he's going to be okay. Shreyas Iyer is there. Javindra, no, Jadeja is playing. I thought you said Jadeja is not playing. He's in their first test. Mohammad Akhtar,
Oh, okay. So
Cheteshwar
then maybe for
Pujara.
the 2020 for T20s he was
No, it's
rested,
the other guy.
not in.
Ashwin is rested. Ashwin is also there. So I don't know how many. Dude, it's going to be a spinning pitch. It's like this is just.
Is it
It's writing is on the
is there
wall,
any
man.
match?
Writing is on.
Is there any match in Ahmedabad or Chennai?
Man, it just goes. So Virat
Oh,
Kohli comes in the second match. Yeah,
Williamson got
just
dropped.
Williamson got dropped. Oh man, and Pat comes and he went for four. Fucking hell! I gotta see this thing. This is not good. This is a good luck, right? Oh man, that you were talking about Cummins. At least he finally right before he's in the squad. We saw it, Dave. So Justin, I call him Justin. His actual name is Dave. He speaks Telugu and English and amazing Hindi. Because most time he says something in Hindi, he ends up like once he ordered a bit of chicken biryani, he ended up getting a fridge, like a refrigerator. He said, I ordered chicken biryani. He's like, so we have a fridge for you, sir. He's like, what the fuck just happened? And he said, I'm never speaking Hindi in Bombay. So that happened with him. He's new, but he's one of the good guys at work. And appreciate you being here and asking questions and telling us Mayank is in the squad. Mayank is in the squad. The squad. This is GRE class. Don't forget the articles. Okay. And it's all definite article. So please put the definite. So I think you have to be somewhere. So let's
Oh,
wrap this in the
start
next couple of minutes.
This
This is
over,
definitely a no
this
ball.
over is this is a turning over, right?
I mean, how do you? This is a no ball first of all, and how do you blame? How do you
Yeah, it
blame
is
even
a
Mitchell Stark now? Because once you can get so like you notice that every time something fuck up happens, the bowlers completely loses their mind. So this is what I was expecting. Eventually, they'll do
But
something
by the
like
way,
this.
no, by the way, the dropped catch was of a full toss down the leg side. I mean, it was not that it was like a crazy good delivery. So Stark shouldn't be like phased by it. And
No,
he's
no, I
experienced
understand, but I'm
enough.
saying a drop is a drop. That was a straightforward catch for an Australian fielder. Right? It's not Rohit Sharma or something.
But
If Rohit Sharma had taken that, it will be the greatest catch in his life.
yeah, yeah, this over has completely shifted the momentum. And I think Finch was going the other way around. He's like, oh, like they're slow, and let me take one more Stark over out of the equation. And I think
Yeah,
it's
because
that.
I think they have the same reservations like you did, right? That of this
Yeah,
brilliant feeling by Stoinis. So they had the similar reservations like you did. That is, at the end of the day, let's just probably try somebody else. And then, well, did not work out very well, did it? So
yeah,
that was the case. But this is definitely going to be useful. Also gives a lot of confidence to the fielding side, sorry, batting side, because they're like, okay, maybe
yeah.
we can do something about it.
This, yeah. Now earlier, I think it was like the innings was heading towards like a 150, 155. Now this push has definitely given them a chance to be back at like 170, 175 if they play well for the rest of the innings.
So if you
It'll
before you
be.
sign off,
Hmm.
please tell us like the match has come alive. Mitch won for a lot of runs. Starkey, sorry, I start calling him Mitch. There are a lot of Mitches there. Daryl Mitchell, this Mitchell, Mitchell Marsh.
Mitchell
So
Marsh.
Stark.
Yeah.
It's a very popular name, this Mitch thing, right? It's like a big fucking over, man. I think that is been will be very useful. Momentum is everything. But at the end of the day, we know that once you start chasing and they bat deep, but there will be pressure. All those things are going to come into play. I think at least the match has come alive. Obviously, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, this is six or something, and a Guptill. I told you eventually Guptill has to go. No, this is out. This is out. Sorry. So it's out. So Guptill has gotten out, and as
So
you predicted, Zampa has not gone for runs, taken a wicket just before you're going. Damn, back to Australia. 70-30.
see, the point is, yes, I told you, right? I mean, Zampa, if you attack him, he will take wickets. He's a wicket taking bowler. So I mean, they put themselves in the corner that they had to attack Zampa, and now hopefully they will not pay further price. He's already taken out Guptill. I'm wondering who's coming
Very
out for wicket.
disappointing for Guptill, right? Because he kind of like did not do anything. Like we thought, like after maybe 18 deliveries, he'll go after it. He was just not doing anything, and he was
Yeah,
striking at 80 or something. That is something. I mean, like I don't understand. So when you were saying that, I was
I've
still
never
like, no,
seen.
he'll go for it. He'll go for it. He'll go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
Guptill is like a like a 150 strike rate player, man. That's like this
Yeah,
guy is
I've
like
never
he
seen
goes
him
after
play
it.
like this. I mean, it's very uncharacteristic of him. But yeah, anyways,
Yeah,
coming
striking
back, I think
80.
it's
Hmm.
for me it's at 75-25 to Australia, unless New Zealand pulls something out of the bag, unless Bolt like takes a fifer or something. Um, I don't know. No matter what
Yeah,
target New Zealand end up setting, whether it's 140 or 170, the key is like how well Bolt and Saudi bowl up top. Like in the first six, what's going to happen? If Finch and Warner get to a start, then I mean, I don't
forget
even want
about it.
to like, yeah, forget
And
about
I
it.
really
And
love
one
Glenn
of them,
Phillips. He just jumps everywhere, like Glenn Phillips. He's just crazy.
yeah,
I'm like, what a fielder, man. Sometimes he overdoes it as well. I saw his catch. He just jumped too far. The ball went through his like freaking chest. Like he went too far, ran too far. A great, great. Only last thing I will say, apart from the obviousness, that the final 3 overs in this innings will matter a lot. I mean, apart from
yeah,
saying the most obvious thing, but because Starkey is going to come back and bowl those 2 overs, and one of them will be either Cummins or Hazel. So how that though go? If they go for 30 runs, I'm okay with 30 runs. But when they go for 55, then the momentum is there. Again, Australia can do anything, but that was definitely give New Zealand a big chance because that will mean they'll probably end up scoring 170. There's a difference between
yeah,
155 and 170. In a final, there's a lot
absolutely,
more pressure. There's a lot more pressure. There'll be a
yeah,
lot more nerves.
yeah,
Let's back Australia, and if New Zealand wins, well, I don't think anybody's going to be unhappy. And Australia can always say like, okay, we went to the final. Next time it's in Australia, we can win it there.
yeah,
Aussie, Aussie,
correct.
Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi. Yo. All
So
right. So
appreciate you, Australia. Win or not, Ole will not leave. Nobody will kick Ole out. Ole is the company man, as they call it. He is at the wheel. I don't know if you saw Steve Bruce. I don't know in the last match. He came to watch England's match, and he was watching. They were winning. He was very happy. Suddenly, his face turned. The dude is like in Dubai chilling. And suddenly, you're like, motherfucker, man, that was not good. So I spotted him. I was watching it. My friend did not recognize. Like, he doesn't watch football. I was like, that's Steve Bruce, the guy who got sacked, and he's just chilling there in Dubai. Zampa.
yeah, he
Okay,
deserves some rest.
fair enough. So thanks for your time, Lal. So we are all
All
backing
right.
Australia, but
Thank you for
as I
having
said,
me.
nobody's gonna be
I hope
grudging
it's
if
a
New
good
Zealand wins.
match. Yeah.
I hope it's a
Hope
good
it's
match.
a
That's
good
what I'm
match.
looking for at the end of the day. I want it to be a fucking tearjerker, edge of the seats thriller, just the way both semifinals happened. So if you have stuck around till now, if you haven't still liked and subscribed, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? What the fuck? Today we had a 420, and now I think we're gonna have
I
421. I
saw
don't know,
that.
or it's already there or not. I haven't seen it. So that person even messaged me. She's like, 420. I'm your 420. I'm the blunt in the bastard. So that was that was amazing. So it's like at least somebody got excited. I didn't even realize it, and then I get a message from somebody. I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. And in fact, the my next friend who was trying to do the 421, she's not very happy. She's like, I wanted to be the 420. Get rid of one people. So I was like, please don't remove it. But yeah, it's just one chance. But I said I'll remember that. I'll remember that. So you take care, Lal, and
All right.
I'll
Take
see you
care.
next week. Yeah,
See you.
enjoy. All right.
Enjoy.
Take care,
Bye.
brother. Bye bye. Bye bye. Respect. Bye, everyone who's watching. Okay.